This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only.
This is meat left in a jar for 1 year.
Smells like acidic mushrooms.
This is called high meat.
It's the oldest meat I've ever seen.
This is somebody eating it.
Very strong. That really goes in your throat. Big time. Oh, like eating chili.
This is the face of regret.
Hell.
Hi, my name is Anya. Welcome to my channel and thank you so much for being here. Tonight we're talking about the guy from the intro, Gatis Lagzdins from Latvia. His name online is Sv3rige, and just looking at him gives me the creeps. He's a walking, talking red flag. Bear with me on this one. The video gets darker as it goes, but I'll put in some snippets in the video to lighten the mood and to show you that, in my opinion, the dude is a joke. Be prepared to be appalled. Okay, let's go.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Gatis Lagzdins, born in 1989, better known as Sv3rige, is a Latvian YouTuber, conspiracy theorist, an anti-vegan activist who believes the earth is flat. He also believes in sun gazing, so staring at the sun to harvest its energy. He's known on YouTube for provoking vegans by eating raw meat at vegan events. His whole shtick is to mock and harass vegans. He had nearly 100,000 followers on his YouTube channel, which was taken down in October of 2022. But he also has another channel called Gatis, and that channel has nearly 64,000 followers. On that channel, he talks very badly about people, calling them ugly and losers. He talks crap about Will Tennyson, Moist Critical, Chris Heria, Cody Ko, Dr. Mike, Andrew Tate, and so many others. Also, say what you will about Tate, but he would destroy this clown IRL. Well, Gatis has an interesting past, and Metro UK wrote an article about him back in 2019. Man who ate raw pig's head at a vegan festival stabbed 4 classmates at school. The anti-vegan protester who travels the world eating raw pieces of animal flesh was kicked out of school for stabbing 4 students. The YouTuber recently brought his carnivore tour to the UK, devouring a raw squirrel in London and a pig's head in Brighton. It has now emerged that in 2006, a 16-year-old Gatis armed himself with 2 knives and attacked classmates at his school in Latvia. He stabbed and injured 2 boys and a girl inside his classroom and attacked a 3rd boy as he ran for safety. Latvian police said they found him sitting in front of a computer after the attack with the 2 knives beside him. All 4 victims were taken to hospital where they were treated for light injuries. After the incident, he left school. So that's what he was up to as a teenager in his home country. The article continues. With a necklace made from a dead woodcock bird around his neck, he began talking into a furry rodent in the middle of the food stands. Shocked passerby shouted, "What the fuck is going on?" Yes, he made a necklace out of a dead bird, and it wasn't an eagle or any other bird of prey, but a woodcock. Have you seen a woodcock? This is the bird he proudly wore around his neck. His latest anti-vegan stunt in Soho didn't last long, as he was dragged away in handcuffs and arrested while his followers filmed every moment. Now to his YouTube channel. He started off by making videos about the Illuminati and the New World Order. He also thinks that seeds cause mental illness and that plants are toxic. He's clearly very anti-science, and I suspect a mental illness or 2. And I don't mean that in a nasty way. And I think you'll see what I mean as the video goes on. Plus, I think you'll agree with me. At some point, he became a raw meat eater, so he consumes only raw meats, raw eggs, raw milk, and so on. and will, from time to time, eat rotten meats, as you can see here. Videos with titles such as eating 1-year-old rotten meat, eating 70 days old raw eggs, eating rotten veal liver and heart, eating old veal brain, and so on and so forth. That's the person we're dealing with. Now let's look at some of his YouTube content. And you make up your mind whether or not you find him to be dangerous or delusional or maybe something in between.
I see a lot of videos for women on YouTube on how to get a so-called hourglass body. Wider hips and bigger breasts, essentially. They will tell you to work out, do plastic surgery, go on unnatural diets, and so on. All of this is bullshit. There's one solution to all of your problems: pregnancy. The reason you look the way you look is because you did not get pregnant right after you started menstruating.
Most girls get their first period between the ages of 10 and 15, the average age being 12. 90% of girls have their periods when they are 13 or younger, and this is information from the NHS. Most girls start their periods when they are about 12, but they can start as early as 8. Fuck off.
Your menstruation is literally your body, nature, God if you're religious, telling you to have children now. Every woman on earth that did not get pregnant when she was supposed to now looks different than she should, which means that most women in Europe and North America don't look the way they are supposed to. Do you understand how big of a deal this is?
Huge.
Almost
Such a big
every
deal.
woman that walks past you in everyday life doesn't look the way she is naturally supposed to.
To parents of young daughters, if you want them to have that hourglass body, see to it that they get pregnant when they hit puberty, maybe even at the tender age of 10. And hopefully she can hook up with someone like this perfect man, a man in his 30s with nothing going for him. Oh, the joy.
The looks are one thing, but there's a much bigger problem that most women have no clue about. Your body stops growing at around the age of 18. Growth is not only your height, your body goes through a lot of changes, and one of them is that it tightens and stays that way for life. This is a huge problem for women in the West today. You've probably been told all of your life that childbirth is very painful, right? It actually isn't, but it is for most women in the West, and that's because they give birth almost 15 years too late. You have to understand that from nature's perspective, you are seen as a loser, and that's why you will be punished with pain. This is why you have to give birth when you are young and flexible. Your hips will widen very easily when giving birth.
Ah yes, because 12-year-olds have such wide childbearing hips. Vile.
And you won't have to go through those painful contractions that women who give birth at an unnatural age go through. Your hips will stay that way and make all of your future births just as easy, whereas those women can even risk bleeding to death when they give birth. Again, this is a natural punishment for going against nature. You won't have stretch marks, your breasts will be much bigger, because you will be pregnant while you are going through puberty, which is how it's supposed to be. It will give you an extra boost, so to speak. This is how you actually naturally get an attractive body as a woman.
Let's see what science says. Compared to women between the ages of 20 and 35, pregnant women under 20 are at a greater risk for death and disease, including bleeding during pregnancy, toxemia, hemorrhage, prolonged and difficult labor, severe anemia and disability. Lifelong social and economic disadvantages may be a consequence of teenage birth. Well, color me fucking surprised.
The media teaches women to be promiscuous. The schools teach them to use protection. And the families usually don't even get involved today. They don't have a strong father figure to lead them or to teach them anything. Back in the day, we did not document our birth dates as we do now. Most people didn't know how old they are because naturally it's irrelevant.
Really?
On the day a girl got her first period is usually when she lost her virginity and got impregnated. Nobody cared about her exact age because it didn't matter up until today.
Again, common sense should prevail, but I'll just read this, which is the common consensus in the medical community. Just because a girl can get pregnant doesn't mean that she can safely deliver a baby. The pelvis does not fully widen until the late teens. The late teens, meaning that young girls may not be able to push the baby through the birth canal.
I'll give you some examples. In Spain, 20 years ago, the age of consent was 12. It was changed to 16 some years ago. In Italy and Germany, it was also 12 for ages. In Italy, it is 14 now. Not that much has changed there. In Canada, up until 2008, it was also 14. Artificial marriages with a contract usually happen between the ages of 9 and 12, all around the earth.
Lovely.
A bit over 100 years ago, the age of consent in the United States was 7 to 12 years, depending on the state. In 1920, after World War I, it was changed to 16 to 18, all of a sudden. That's also when women started working and sending their children to kindergarten. All of a sudden, the children were in the hands of the government. Everything started going downhill 100 years ago. It was like a great reset. Nowadays we have mind control programs such as To Catch a Predator with Chris Hansen. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it. Men get caught for wanting to sleep with 15-year-old girls. Yet in Europe, the age of consent is 14 to 15 in most countries. And that's simply because even the governments here understand that no matter how old you are as a guy, you would have to be severely mentally ill not to find a 15-year-old girl attractive. Yet in the United States, you are seen as a monster for having a natural attraction, even though that's only 1 year away from 16, which is legal in a lot of states.
Let's take a look at the men he's defending. To Catch a Predator is a show about adult men arriving at a sting house to have sex with a minor they met online, and then they get busted by Chris Hansen.
Hey Pepe, come on in!
He's 41-year-old Jose Falcon, screen name Florida, in Miami. He's been chatting online with a girl who said she was 12 and a virgin. He lies about his age, saying he's 27, and he says he has plans to teach the 12-year-old how to have sex. He describes in X-rated detail what he wants to do to her. The man in the black hat is 31-year-old Thomas Coffin, a self-employed handyman. He's here after making a date online for sex with a girl pretending to be 14. He tells her, "I am into young girls. I like them better than the older girls." And he goes further, admitting he's done this before. This is 27-year-old Eric Thornton, screen name Balin79. He drove 4 hours thinking he was going to meet a girl who told him online she was 14. At one point during the chat, he gets on his webcam and masturbates and types, "Did you see it?" The decoy says, "Not really, too dark," and he types back, "Shoot," and then brags about what he had just done. Online, he said he'd bring alcohol and condoms, so the actress asks him about it.
What kind of alcohol did you bring?
I brought Absolute Citron, I brought Mandarin Orange, I brought a shot of Jägermeister, I got Bush.
Wow.
And
yeah.
I don't know, I could get some more if I need to.
Did you bring condoms?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Sure did. Sure did.
This potential predator thinks he's chatting with our actress who's posing as a 13-year-old virgin. He's 26-year-old James Rutherford, screen name I.U. Rutherford. He's been chatting online for more than a week with Princess Danica. And what does the 26-year-old do with his webcam? He starts putting on a show. He takes off his shirt, flexes his muscles, and even shows off his pierced tongue.
Who did you think you were going to meet here? Just this kid I've been talking to.
This kid?
I know she's a kid.
How old?
13, 14.
13. And how old are you?
Too old for a 13, 14-year-old.
Too old. Why don't you just tell me what you do for a living?
I'm a teacher.
And what grade do you teach?
6th grade.
6th grade. It's a rainy night in Connecticut, and this 40-year-old guy thinks he's going to cuddle in bed with a 13-year-old girl named Bailey.
What kind is it?
Look at him. Look at this cooking man.
Thank you. It's nice to finally see you. This is crazy.
Ew.
Yeah, I'm really nervous.
Ew.
I've never done this. Have you?
No.
We've hired this 19-year-old actress, Casey, to be our decoy. Elliot seems to think she's the 12-year-old virgin he's been chatting with online for the past month. Using a screen name so disturbing we can't broadcast it, he tells the decoy about his fantasy of being with a young girl.
You were asking me about what I was daydreaming about. Well, that's it. You nude and me licking you.
Jeez. At one point, he tells her his hobby is taking pictures of himself masturbating and then sends the decoy some of those shots. And he doesn't stop there. Later, he sends her a photo of a girl engaging in a sex act.
And so what is all this talk back and forth between you and a girl you think is 13? You know you're going to shower with me. I'm going to pick you up and put you against the shower wall. Then I'm going to have you ride me, babe, as my hand grabs your ass and I blank your blanks. Did you send her any pictures of yourself?
Oh.
What's your name?
Joshua.
Joshua. Joshua what?
Cologne.
Cologne.
His name's Joshua Colon. He's a Colon. No, your surname is Colon.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
32. And why did you think it was appropriate to talk to a girl who said she was 12 years old? I'll pick you up somewhere and we'll have sex if you want. I'll go slow, and yes, it will hurt, because she's a virgin, you said.
Oh, God.
I meant a naughty pic. You send a picture of yourself.
I know, don't remind me.
I'm not that big, but I could fit inside you. Have you ever played with yourself?
What you doing here? His name is Aladdin. He lied online about his age, saying he was 35. He's really 46. And how old is this girl you came here to meet?
I believe she's 18.
18.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it seems like you're having some memory trouble tonight, so I'm going to remind you of some of the things you said in the conversation. You ask her if she's a virgin.
I ask everybody all kinds of stuff. It's just talk.
Do you sleep naked?
What's wrong with what? Asking questions.
You own that rig yourself?
No, sir.
So you work for a company that owns that rig?
Yes, sir.
And how do you think they'd take to the fact you're out driving that rig around, going to meet a 15-year-old girl?
Well, they were looking at me in a bad note.
Meth is one hell of a drug.
He's Michael Willis, screen name Generic White Male. He's almost 50 years old, and he's been chatting online with a girl who calls herself Jolanda and who says she's 15. He lies to her about his age, typing, "I'm 30. You probably don't want me around you. I'm cute, though."
This man had the audacity to say he's 30. 30.
Oh, built good. Then he says,
"We'd have to keep us a secret because of the age."
I'm cute though, built good. The delusion.
Difference. Younger girls like you don't come along
30.
often. I'd want you again and again.
Jeez. Then he sends an online picture of his penis to the girl who told him she was 15.
And how did you meet her?
Well, of course, online.
You act like I should know.
30.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a common thing now. You know what? I don't want this cookie. I just want to get to the beach.
Come here, just 1 second, sir.
But Generic White Male won't be going to the beach today. As he heads out the back, he stumbles off the porch right into the arms of the Fort Myers Police Department. The police quickly take him down to the ground.
He's not talking about teens impregnating other teens. He's advocating for something very different. He's talking about girls and men getting together, adults and children.
7 years ago, I decided to sell almost everything that I have. It's an incredibly freeing feeling. I never liked the system that we live in. Even when I was 10 years old, I thought that I would never have a job and assumed that I would end up being homeless. I never took school serious and only played around. Now, literally all that I own is in this backpack.
Bruh, you're nothing but a dusty old man with a receding hairline, no capital and nothing to offer your offspring. If I take a well-built 20-something guy to compete with you, to hunt, to provide financially, to protect a family, and create healthy Uber babies, you're the loser. Testosterone levels reach their peak around age 18 or 19 before declining throughout the remainder of adulthood. A man is most fertile around 25 to 29 years of age. Aren't you in your mid-30s? You look haggard as fuck. In the nature and society, the world you are talking about, you are over the hill, and the men on how to catch a predator were never even on that hill. Look at them. So you shouldn't have the opportunity to impregnate any young girl or anyone for that matter. And that's by your logic, not mine. He has some sort of a t-shirt/clothing business. And I use the word business very lightly. It is something else. Here are his designs. Fuck veganism. Fuck veganism, and some more fuck veganism. Very creative. It gives me, I don't know, smooth brain. He has nothing. He owns nothing. He was a loser back in school and he's a loser now. What does he bring to the table as a man? He's not a provider. He isn't kind. He lacks empathy. And he's not that young anymore. He talks about being a strong father figure and a leader, yet his mission in life is to run around eating rodents, wearing some dead bird necklace at vegan events, provoking the big scary vegans. This is what he brings to the table as a man. The delusion. It's going to get worse. This is him just spouting his opinions and showing his derangement. However, he has a dark side.
Hola from Fuerteventura. I've talked about cannibalism before and how nobody wants to talk about it. But when it comes to incest, nobody wants to even think about it. As a carnivore, it's best to consume what's closest to you for regeneration. And if you switch off what you have learned for a second, you may come to the same conclusion about sex. The word incest comes from chastity, so it's purely religious.
I don't care.
All life comes from created species and races who appeared all over the earth where there was life, food. We were given the order to eat and survive, so all of these so-called Adam and Eves and their children had to inbreed. We are all related. There's still a lot of tribes out there who do it. They don't have a choice. We get told about these genetic disorders and birth defects. There's a lot of claims, but no proof. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Really?
I recommend watching this film called... It's a Latvian documentary about a brother and sister who have children, and they are perfectly fine. It's also beautifully filmed, so I recommend watching it for that reason alone.
No, thank you.
Wouldn't these problems logically come from blood that is further away from you?
Nope.
The blood is the soul, and that's why the royals supposedly don't have sex with any outsiders. As long as the bloodline is healthy, it's perfectly fine.
We're going to debunk this freak real quick. Studies have confirmed an increase, okay, in genetic disorders due to inbreeding, such as blindness, hearing loss, neonatal diabetes, limb malformations, disorders of sex development, schizophrenia, and several others. Have you seen what modern-day historians say about the royals and how many of them were deformed and suffered due to inbreeding? He's pulling these things out of his ass.
Nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
But there are degenerates out there that will believe him. Imagine if he had a daughter and thinks incest is okay. He doesn't have boundaries regarding a girl's age. Imagine he had a girl in his family he finds attractive or ready to procreate. How insane do you have to be to say that children born out of incest are healthy or even healthier than other children? Maybe his parents are siblings. I wouldn't be surprised. Drinking human blood. That's his title, by the way. He's such a muppet. He doesn't really drink blood. Some dude has a scrape on his leg and this goofball gets on his hands and knees and licks it off. It's just, yeah. Have a look.
Yummy, yummy, yummy.
Oh my god, he's such a waste of space. About serial killers.
The point is to get you into the mindset that killing, stealing, etc. is wrong, even though that's what the enlightened ones do because it's natural and they worship nature. That's the only way to be happy. The words serial killer are synonymous with psychopath nowadays, which is basically somebody who's mentally ill, unstable, and goes against society. In nature, you're a hero. Being antisocial is a guarantee that you're sane. If you agree with society, which is a man-made anti-nature construct, then you're insane. When there's a serial killer around, everybody panics and tries to find him or her. These are beings who follow their natural vampire instincts.
Oh my god.
Maybe they are malnourished, and that's why they break the man-made rules and drink blood and eat humans. We call them cannibals and monsters, but nothing that they do is in any way wrong, because there's no such thing.
Okay.
Nature actually celebrates their actions. Everything is incredibly twisted.
Oh my god, he thinks he's so edgy. Like he's out here trying to say some edgy stuff and comes off so tragic. I think he really wants to be antisocial. In the next clip, he demonstrates how to fight naturally, whatever that means.
Alright, I'm sick of all the videos on YouTube teaching people how to fight unnaturally because nobody fights like that in nature. All of the moves that you use with punching and kicking would do very little good in nature. So, firstly, you would take anything you can to throw, any kind of rock, anything that is hard, and you would just throw it because humans are able to, unlike all the other animals.
Look.
And you would just throw it because humans are able to, unlike all the other animals. Secondly, if you try to punch me like you would, anybody who is strong, even if it's very strong bones, very strong muscles, you could overpower them by simply jumping on them, and they wouldn't even expecting you. You would, if you would put your arms around them and bite them in the neck and just bite a piece out, they would be so much in shock that you could do anything with them afterwards. Or if they try to do something, then you bite them in the nose or bite an ear off.
What the fuck was that? Look at his body movements. He looks so stupid. Talking about poking out eyes and ripping out throats. Bruh, have a seat. You ain't gonna do shit. A funny story. In this little anecdote, he talks about a woman he saw in Bulgaria and what he did to her. She was walking around semi-naked and according to him, she was dripping in between her legs. He is so disgusting.
Actually, a funny thing happened 2 days ago. This is no joke. I was walking in Sofia in the park in the forest, and some woman was walking, and I see something like dripping, and I get closer and closer, and I see she has no underwear on, and her pussy is really wet and dripping all over the ground. So I like say, "Hey, miss, do you need help with this, or what is it?" She says, "Well, it is wet, it's dripping, like it's kind of saying, come and fuck that puss, bitch." Then I fuck her, I kill her, so I buried her in the forest, and that's why I escaped Sofia, because I thought in Macedonia they maybe won't, you know, see what happened. I should go to bed. Good night, guys.
I almost have no words as to how repulsive I find this creature. He's pathetic and such a creep. You see, he's never stepped up to someone that held him accountable, like really accountable. No, he focuses on woodcocks, women, peaceful vegans, and children.
I remember when I was 16, I tried to touch a girl's genitals, her breasts, her face, and her whole body when she was asleep, and she was drunk, I was drunk, and that was when I went after these physical ideas. And of course she felt horrible. The next morning she found out because somebody told her about it.
He assaulted a young woman when she was passed out. And I feel so bad for that girl. Assault is damaging. It can haunt you for life. He's not normal, and he's certainly not a good person. Also, let me make it clear, he does not apologize in the video. How he's still walking free and hasn't done any prison time is mind-boggling. My take on this, the dude is an absolute joke. He has all this bravado but doesn't really do anything with it. But I wonder, is he dangerous? Is he a ticking time bomb hiding in plain sight? Whether or not he's healthy, eating rotten meats and staring at the sun is whatever. Apparently, this is what he looks like, without the saturation turned up to max. He looks like he's got hepatitis. His eyes look dead, his teeth are yellow and raggedy. Maybe he doesn't brush them. I mean, he does live a natural life, so I suppose that toothpaste is out of the question, as well as mouthwash and bathrooms with running water. This is him only a few days ago, still begging for money, doing fuck all with his life. He's in his mid-30s, asking for handouts so he can live in a warm country and attend vegan events.
So for people like him and others who have a lot of money, millions, for them $10,000 is kind of like spare change almost. Especially if you're trading crypto, your portfolio goes up and down every day, tens or probably hundreds of thousands. So it's always relative, but still it always comes from the heart, so to speak, because whatever you have, it's like you're willing to give. So that's why I'm saying I appreciate all of it.
Let's all hope and pray to whatever deity you believe in that he goes to live in a cave somewhere far, far away from young girls and the rest of us. Thank you for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye!